Well, I guess this is it, huh? Wow. Here we are. Here we are on the precipice of something new. I don't even know if precipice is the right word I should use. It feels exciting. It really does. I've always wanted to start a podcast. I just never. Actually, you know what? Let me just start here. What's going on, everybody? My name is Danny Costa. I'm 29 years old. I've been doing content creation on and off for years now. And I felt like this was the right time to start a podcast. I'm in a point in my life right now where I just really don't give two flying F's about what it is that I should be doing. And so I just wanted to start this podcast. By the way, this is going to be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all over the place. But if you tune into the YouTube, you get to see a lot more, and it makes it more fun because I want to make this podcast engaging. By the way, welcome to the Dan Cave. I'm your host, obviously, Dan Costa. And today, we're just going to be chatting about a variety of things, really. I mean, I got my laptop right here. We're going to be going through the studio a little bit, showing you around what we got, and just kind of telling you who I am, my journey, what kind of the goal for this podcast is, and just kind of leave you with something, before we do this all over next week. We get to say hi to each other next week. So, but this podcast. So, who am I? So I already said, 29. I've been doing content on and off, and I've had my feet dipped in a lot of different areas in gaming, in a little bit of political TikTok and things like that. And photography, videography. Where did all of this start? Well, it started when I was in Montana, and this was years ago. And I was at a point in my life where there was just a lot of things going on. I had just gotten out of a relationship. I had just come out of the closet. I came out at 24, and that's what, for those of you watching, that's my first tattoo that I got in Roman numerals on my forearm here. I also, just really quick, I have super bad ADHD. So, like, if I continue to rant on certain things, I apologize in advance. This Gatorade tattoo is for my grandma. Family is near and dear to me. It always has been. I come from a big Italian family. I'm actually learning Italian myself right now because I have family in Italy that I've always wanted to go visit. I just never had the chance to visit. But this tattoo is from my grandma. It's a G, the Gatorade G. Her favorite drink was Glacier Freeze Blue Gatorade. And when she was in the nursing home, we would always go in. She would always be asking for us to get it for her. And so this is my ode to her. And I got it because it's just such an odd tattoo. I've never seen anybody else have it. And so when people ask about it, it just keeps her memory alive. And that's why I love this tattoo so much. And that's why I got it in the place that I got it. So, as you can tell, I'm a man of sentimentality. I love holding on to things. Am I a hoarder? No, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm only 29. I'd like to think I'm not, but I don't know. And so my last tattoo is just family in Italian. These are the only 3 tattoos that I have. I got this when I was actually kind of buzzed one time. I know you shouldn't do that, but I did anyways because fuck it. And it's also one of my favorite tattoos. And so, yeah, it's the only 3 that I have. I was thinking about getting more, but for now, I think we're good. So why did I start the podcast? I started the podcast because I have dipped my feet in a lot of different areas in content. And I've always wanted something long form, and I can talk to a brick wall forever. And so I decided, okay, you know what? Let's just see where this goes. I've always had this idea. I've always seen people go for it. And I'm just kind of at a point in my life right now where, again, I just don't give a shit what people think or, my expectation for myself is I have big expectations for myself. And this is ground zero. You know what I mean? And so right now I have, my personal TikTok. I'm going to be posting more to YouTube, and, I'll have accounts for this and stuff. And, every 2 to 3 months or so, I'm going to be kind of churning out something new in terms of, like brand new content that just kind of surrounds me. And so, like I would love to start streaming again. I love streaming. But I've known this about myself too, is I have to focus on one thing at a time. And I want to get this to a place that it's maintainable and it's consistent before I dip my feet in anything else. And so I started this again podcast mainly to venture into a new form of content for myself, but also I wanted to connect with my audience more on a more personal level and just kind of get into my life more and get to know you more through various different things that I have planned for this podcast that we even start including in the next episode, which I'm pretty excited about. But it's a further extension of myself in connecting with you. And I wanted this to be a place where, it's called the Dan Cave. I want this to be a podcast where people can come here and they can just literally chill and get involved in certain ways, but also just feel like you have a place to decompress and have fun and, just uh, relax, right? And so um, that's what this kind of is. And so I'm excited. So I'm gonna turn to camera A now. I want to show you guys the studio because, and for those of you that are watching this, for those of you that are listening, I'll do my best to explain. So I have a lot. Sentimentality is huge to me, and so I'm gonna start from here to here, right, left to right. So on the left of me, I have my Italian flag. I love my Italian heritage. Um, my family is Southern Italian, Sicilian, the true Italians for all of the Northern Italians out there. But I got this flag when I was in Italy 11 years ago, and it's been with me in every stage of my life. And I got it just as a reminder. I've kept this as a reminder um, for all the things that I've been going through in my life, all the challenges that I've had to overcome, and it also reminds me to as an Italian, I feel like Italians are artistic by nature, and I know that sounds really corny, but you know look at the whole of Italy and look at the history of Italy. Is it glamorous all the time? No. But the architecture, the art, the atmosphere, everything is artistic there. Everything is art. And that's what this reminds me to be is to dive into my artistic self at all times. And that's why I've hung it up. And I'm gonna hang it up a little bit more prominently. I actually just like hung this up just now, like 10 seconds before recording this. So it's gonna be in a better place. I just wanted to kind of give the backstory on that. Um, and then we got, it is what it is. Uh, I got this. So a lot of this stuff that you're going to see, I got at thrift shops. Oh, my voice is cracked. A lot of the stuff that you're going to see is things that I got thrifting, and there is no rhyme or reason to this wall. It is literally, I call this the wall of chaos. As it gets more and more chaotic with just random things that I find, and it could have no meaning at all. It could have the most sentimental meaning in the world. I have this sign, it is what it is, because sometimes it is what it is. Is it my favorite phrase? No, but the harsh reality is sometimes it is what it is. This sign, Madison, I think this is a Billy Madison sign. I got this for like $2. I saw this at King's Treasures, and it's just one of those things that I was just like, you know what? I feel like that'd be pretty chill to have. This is my cork board. Again, literally just hung this up right before recording this. I mean, honestly, now all of this I did. I completely switched around my office. But right here, I have more things that I want to hang here, sentimental things that I've gotten throughout the years. And above me, she dreamed she could, so she did. And she absolutely did. Again, I got this at the same, I think it was like $3. I just liked it. I love Disney, not as much now, but I still love it. Like Pixar is pretty dope, except for this whole bean animation thing that they're doing now. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. Anyway, she dreamed she could, so she did. Love that. And then right here, okay, so same thrift store. There's a big, so for those of you that are listening, there's a big, huge black and white portrait of a woman wearing a white dress. It looks like she's in New York. She's got white gloves. She looks very, very Marilyn Monroe. She's standing next to a window and you can see the reflection of the city in the background. She looks like a big, white heels, very poised. I don't know what to name her. So that's going to be my first goal for all the listeners to help me name this person. I don't know how long that's going to be. And when I hear the name, I know it'll fit. But right now we just call her the unnamed woman. And so we're going to leave it at that. In the corner, I don't know if you can't see it on screen right now, and that's something that I'll kind of move in the future. But there's a big Hobbit sword, the Orcust. My husband and I, by the way, I'm gay. Newsflash: my husband and I, who have been together for almost what 4 years now, 4 years maybe. Yeah, 3.5, going on 4 years. Been married for the last 2 months. But him and I are huge Lord of the Rings fans. He is a aviation and aerospace psychologist. He's extremely intelligent, extremely smart. He's getting his MHA right now. He just started Cornell, and he is a huge Lord of the Rings nerd, more than I am. And he got this from one of his patients when he had to leave, because he's also in the military, and he is now, we've always been stationed in New Mexico. We're based here in New Mexico. But one of his patients got him this sword, and I thought it was so cool. It's an actual sharp, real replica of the Orcust from The Hobbit. And then he got me like a little Viking helmet when he was in North Dakota, that's hanging on there. And then we have a chicken wearing some drunk goggles in the corner. There's also some, well, the chicken's significant because the chicken has always been in my husband's apartment or place of residence wherever he's gone for his entire life. And I put it in here as a testament to withstanding anything. And I know that doesn't make any sense at all, but it makes sense to me, and that's what counts. There's also a pair of drunk goggles on there. It's like my favorite pair of drunk goggles. It's my only pair of drunk goggles, but I wore them out when we were out in El Paso one night, and it was like the talk of the town. Everybody loved them. Everybody wanted to wear them. I said, fuck no. Because I didn't want to lose them. And then on the wall to the side, there's a window to the right of me. There's just a bunch of stuff on the side here, a bunch of like old cameras, because I'm a photographer. And I've done videography for a long time now. And I do movie set photography as of right now. I would love to make this my full time, but for now, movie set photography is really fun. I've met a lot of cool people, a lot of cool actors and actresses in the process, and that's something that I would love to talk about in the future as well. But that's kind of the office. That's kind of the vibe. It's just gonna be like a crazy mix match of whatever the fuck is going on, and maybe I'll take some stuff down, maybe I won't, but it's fun for now, and I like it. It represents me, and my chaoticness. I also have my Mac tell me what time it is. I don't know why I do that, but so yeah, that's kind of the studio. And then as for my content creation journey, so I kind of mentioned it a little bit in the beginning, but I have dipped my toes in a lot of different kinds of content, and I've always thought I need to go like one solid route. And it took me till now to realize that all of these creatives out here don't have a problem establishing themselves in different areas of content. And it was like, okay, well, why can't I do that? And it's because I always get in my head about these things. It's like everything needs to be organized in such a way that it makes sense as a whole. And sometimes you don't need to do that. Sometimes it just makes sense to just start and go from there and figure it out, build the plane while you're flying it. Is it the safest way? No, but it makes it a hell of a lot more fun. So yeah, that's kind of like the introduction to the podcast. But so again, kind of my goals for the podcast. I've always wanted to start long form content, and I never knew what that looked like. I still don't. I don't know what's going to transpire from this podcast. All I know is I love the idea of putting myself out there in this way. And also it just feels like I'm able to connect with an audience more because you're just able to talk more in depth on any topic that you want to at the time. But then it also opens up, better discourse for people to come in and, maybe challenge ideas that I have or thoughts or topics or get involved. And it just makes it a lot more fun for everybody. So, and then again, I just want this place to be like a place where we can truly just hang out. Like this first one, don't get me wrong, it's going to be really, really stale. Really stale. Like it's just the introduction, right? Like, yeah, hey, number one, baby, we're starting today. But and it's so special to me in that sense. It might not sound that special to you, but who gives a fuck, right? Like if you've stayed this long, hell yeah, then I've obviously said something that you like. You obviously like hearing something that I've been telling you. Um, but I want this to be a place where we can truly just chill and hang out, have a good time, talk about some weird shit, talk about some fun stuff, and just be relaxed, and a place where you can kind of decompress and get away from the everyday. Um, maybe you're having a bad day, and hopefully I can this helps in some sort of way. Maybe I offer some sort of advice that makes your day better, that making you happy makes me happy, and that's why that's another reason why I want to do this. I want to bring joy more joy to the world. um Joy to the world. No, seriously, I want to bring joy. I want to bring more joy to the world because I think the world needs that. And are we going to be ranting about shit and complaining about some shit sometimes? Absolutely. Yeah, everybody complains. Who cares? But at least I get to do it with people that I enjoy being around, and you enjoy being around me, hopefully, right? So, um, that's the thing about this podcast is that's the goal. And the podcast, I hope to God it only gets crazier as we go, right? Like I'm gonna do some challenges. Like I love hot foods. I would love to do like hot food challenges on here. I would love to do um I would love to have guests at some point, whether they're virtual or in person. I would love to, uh, you know, just do different segments that I've already had ideas for that I'm kind of prepping for the next episode. Um, and, in a year, I would love to have my own studio space. I would love to be able to say that, Costa Studios is a thing. Um, side note to one of my favorite podcasts, The Basement Yard, to uh, Joe Santagato. I see that he has Santagato Studios. I think that's so cool. I think it's really cool. Um, Also, shout out to Joe. Here, hey, think what you want. Some people have told me that we could be brothers. Just saying. Um, do with that with what you will. I'm just putting that out there. But no, he's a really cool dude. And him and Frankie, man, I always love listening to them. They're such a great podcast to listen to. So, if you leave this podcast at any point, I'd encourage you go listen to them because they're really funny and they're always having a good time. Um, in 2 years, I would love to maybe, I don't know, maybe start touring. I think public speaking would be really cool. I think I'd be really good at public speaking, to be totally honest. And then in 3 years, I have a team. I would love to have a team for this. I would love to have a team that I can help support and say that I'm giving jobs to and offering a really cool career to. And it all starts here. It all starts on this episode. And is every episode going to be perfect? No. Is every episode going to be a banger? Absolutely not. But it's the consistency that I want people to remember that matters. And you might not be vibing with this one, but at some point down the line, there's going to be something that you hear that clicks. There's going to be something that you might resonate with, and that's when you get involved. And that's the cool thing about content is you always kind of have that do-over in a sense. You always have that opportunity to reach somebody new every single day, which is really exciting for me, and it's really exciting to think about. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like that's kind of the gist of the podcast. That's kind of all for now, to be totally honest with you. I mean, hey, look, I'll leave you with this, and I think it'd be cool to kind of end it with. I don't know what this podcast is going to be called. That would be cool to. Well, I can't. I guess I can't really ask you to help me name the podcast, and I have to post it before getting suggestions for a name. I feel like I would name this like here we go. No, that's stupid. I don't know. I'll come up with a good name. But I do want to kind of leave you with a couple things. Um, I literally wrote this down, and this is gonna sound. Hey, you know what takes nads? You know what takes nads? Dot dot dot. Just start and post. Who cares? Who listens? Right? Look, it really does. Just it takes balls to put yourself out there consistently with the goal of getting so big that you're under a spotlight that you can't avoid sometimes. And I've experienced this in very small doses. I've gone viral sometimes, and it's exciting. It's fun. but it's also scary in a sense because you don't know how some people are going to react and you don't know where that video could potentially end up. But nonetheless, if you feel like doing something like this is the right move for you, do it. Go put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to, it's going to be challenging sometimes. You're going to struggle. You're going to you're going to have roadblocks. You're going to have creative blocks, and you're going to have all this stuff. You're going to feel like you don't want to post. Look, put yourself out there. If you feel like it's the right thing to do, just start doing it and worry about the little details later. There's already so many, I'll tell you this right now. There are so many things running inside my head right now at this very moment that I know I could be doing differently for the next episode. And that's it. That wouldn't be possible if I didn't just start. A lot of people, they try to plan all this and they get this, I call it planning paralysis. I've dealt with it so many times and I still deal with it. You just need to stop getting inside your head and just start doing it. Who cares who listens, right? The important thing is you're doing what you love and you're going to get better at your craft the more that you do this. And then also, look, that being said, there's going to be people that critique you in every little sense. There's going to be people that tell you, oh, well, maybe you could be doing it this way or this way. And you're going to feel a pressure to do that sometimes. And if it feels right, try it out, do it, make that change. But if it doesn't, if you feel like you're compromising yourself in the process, I would argue to stop because then you're not being yourself, right? And that's the important thing in all of this is being yourself and putting yourself out there the way that you know best. You know you. You're the only person that knows you as well as you. So continue to be you. I know that's a lot of yous, but you get my point. And look, hey, I'm 29. I'm not getting any younger, and neither are you. This was something that I've always thought about, and I just started doing, right? I didn't like very minimal planning in a sense. And it's only going to get more productive and more streamlined as you continue to do it. And so just start. I mean, literally just start doing this. It's not going to make a difference. Like I wish I would have realized this when I was younger. I really do. And there was a part of me that I was going after it. I was having fun. But for whatever reason, that dose of like quote unquote reality sort of kicked in and it was like, maybe I need to get a real job. And it was at a point where I felt like I was at a tipping point. Like I could have gone all in or didn't. And now I'm just at a point where, yeah, no, it feels right. It feels right. And I'm absolutely going all in. And I want my audience to know that. And so that's kind of all, that's kind of it. I feel like, this is a good place to stop. Like I said, that's all I got for you today. Hey, look, this is a new thing for me, right? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you feel like it. You don't have to, but it would be appreciated if you did. And if you like what you heard or didn't leave a comment, if you like what you heard, I'm literally reading off of my screen again. I got to do a little bit better at this, but if you like what you heard or didn't, leave a comment below. Maybe it's something I can touch on future episodes. But you can also find me at DKCOSTAA for like my personal TikTok, Instagram, things like that. I'm super active on TikTok, not really active much on Instagram, but I'm going to start posting more just kind of everyday stuff on Instagram and TikTok, or Instagram and YouTube Shorts. And then also I'm going to be making channels for this. Again, don't have them at the moment, but you can expect that at the Dan Cave podcast is where you can find all future episodes. And yeah, look, I always look at comments. I always want to include people. I'd like to include some sort of future kind of form where people can fill out to get involved more on sharing their stories, maybe, offering like an advice column, right? I think that'd be really fun. I feel like I offer some pretty solid advice sometimes. I feel like I have a lot of life experience in a lot of different areas. And I would love to maybe help you as best as I can in any way possible. Especially with the relationships. I feel like I'm pretty solid on relationship advice. But you can also find some highlight moments right here on the channel. Again, I'll make a TikTok and Instagram for this. Find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And then, lastly, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you. So I'd love to post every Thursday. Time TBD. Maybe I'm thinking like I'd love to get these episodes out early, like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. maybe. Um, get them out before people have to commute to work. Maybe they can just kind of listen in. And love you guys. Seriously. Wow. Hey, first episode. All right. First episode. We got it done. We got it done and we feel good. Okay. So I'll catch you guys next week. I feel like that's a good place to stop. Toodles. Deuces. Love you.